Namaskar, Vanakkam, Pranam. Welcome to this episode on the Simha Talks. And today we are talking of a very interesting subject, which is which has been like either non-existent or barely existent in any other civilization. The worship of the divine in the female form. And what a majesty of the female form. We have the Brahma, the Vishnu, and the Mahesh, the creator, the preserver, the destroyer. And there is the Durga, the Devi Shakti, who represents and has the power of all three. So the female form is the most powerful form in its in the Devi Shakti form, which is in India. Talking about the Devi Shakti during the Navratri period, we will talk about the Durga Saptashati. Shiv, we will like to know about the Durga Saptashati as a literary text, whether it's when it was written as part of the Markandeya Puran, 3rd century, or later. Its divisions, its 700 shlokas. So let's begin with listening to you about what is Durga Saptashati, what does it represent, and how does it worship the female divine form, the one and the only of its kind of civilization in the world, which has the divine mother that is shown that is represented more powerful than all the male deities combined.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. The very word Durga itself means she who forms a fort that is built to protect.
Durga.
Durga. And in the Durga Suktam, she is addressed as one who ferries you across the samsara sagar, across this ocean of existence. And she is very beautifully addressed there as Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimi, one who is the warrior princess, in other words. So in the Markandeya Puran, we find 700 verses, giving it the name Durga Saptashati, 700. It is also known towards the south of India as Devi Mahatmyam, that is the glory of the Divine Mother. It has three main sections. The first part talks about how the Devi is Mahakali to overcome the tamas inside us, inertia inside us. I will do it later. I will do it tomorrow. How do we overcome that? The second part is when she destroys Mahishasura, she becomes Mahishasura Mardini to overcome our rajas. And finally, we have her emerging as Mahasaraswati to vanquish a horde of asuras, right from Dhumralochana to Chanda, Munda, Shumbha, Nishumba, wherein we overcome and transcend everything and go into the goddess. So this Durga Saptashati begins with a story of you and me. How do I say you and me? There's a king who has lost his kingdom. Someone cheated his kingdom, cheated him of his kingdom, and he is now literally come to the forest. There is a merchant who has been thrown out by his wife and children because of greed of money, and he is also lost. Often in life, we are also lost. And when we are lost, we should go to wise people for counsel. So they go to a rishi known as Medha. And interestingly, Medha means the intellect. And they put forth their concerns, and Medha Rishi says, why don't you realize all this is Maya? There is a very beautiful shloka which encapsulates the essence of not only Sanatana Dharma but also Durga Saptashati, that this Mahamaya or Durga is the one who draws you into Maya, and she is also the one who releases you from Maya. In other words, Jagannataka Vaibhava. This whole thing is a stage wherein everything is Maya. And then the Rishi goes on to narrate the Mahatmya of the divine. So first we have Mahavishnu who is asleep, and two asuras come out of his earwax known as Madhu and Kaitam, and they want to eat Brahma. And Brahma is terrified seeing these asuras. He praises the goddess in the form of sleep, because of whom Lord Vishnu is sleeping. So this is a very beautiful shloka known as Ratri Suktam, in praise of the night. And then the goddess Mahakali comes out, and then Mahavishnu is able to do the samhara of Madhu and Kaitaba. Often, Madhu represents something very sweet, and Kaitaba is an insect. Our mind is like an insect which hovers around our obsessions. That's why we are in a state of sleep. So Mahakali helps us overcome this first stage, to wake up. Once we wake up, many a time we'll say, oh, I am so and so person. I am X and Y. Ego. That is Mahishasura. So the second part enters, wherein Mahishasura Mardini, when Mahishasura takes over the kingdom of the Devas. Whenever ego takes over us, we also behave like Asuras, and the Devas get suppressed. So then all the Devatas invoke the Devi, and Durga Devi emerges seated on a lion, Simhavahini, and there is a long drawn battle with his Asura armies. Many Asuras are slaughtered. And then Mahishasura's fight has him changing forms from a lion to an elephant to a buffalo to finally half Rakshasa, half Asura, a buffalo when the Devi slays him, Mahishasura Mardini. It's very difficult to conquer the ego. It will play tricks on you. It will become an elephant, here, this, that. So that is why we need to climb the Asura and vanquish him, Mahishasura Mardini. Even after conquering the ego, the third part enters, wherein Devi is worshipped as Sattva, Mahasaraswati. So here we talk about a form emerging from Devi Parvati known as Kaushiki. Now notice this science over here. From Devi Parvati, Kaushiki emerges because it refers to the fine hair on the body. That is why Kaushiki. And Devi Parvati becomes black as a result, and she is known as Kalika. So, smitten by the beauty of Devi Kaushiki, the Rakshasa Shumba and Nishumba send her a love proposal. This is the final obstacle we need to overcome. That is, even though we may overcome our sleep and our ahankara, we may feel, see, I am doing upasana of so and so God. I go to this temple so many times. I have gone to XYZ 50 times. We should realize it is by her grace it is happening. The gratitude. That is what Shumbha and Nishumba represent. And often when you feel cloudy and when there's a lack of judgment, you have an asura known as Dhumralochana. The Devi uses no weapon to destroy Dhumralochana. All she does is she looks at him and utters a particular bija mantra known as Hum, and he becomes Bhasma. So again, the Durga Saptashati has a lot of mantric bijas in it, which is why a whole Homa is done with the 700 verses, which is known as the Chandi Homa. And then the destruction of Shumba and Nishumba is also very interesting. In the last video, Sri Shankarji had spoken about otherworldly wars. So the fight between Devi and Shumba happens in the sky without any support. And after repeated forms, where the Devi takes forms of Brahmi, the Shakti of Brahma, Maheshwari, the Shakti of Maheshwara, Kaumari, the Shakti of Kartikeya, Varahi, the Shakti of Varaha, Indrani, the Shakti of Indra, Narasimhi, the Shakti of Narasimha, Vaishnavi, the Shakti of Vishnu, and then with all this, so you have an all-lady army, Stri Shakti, vanquishing the Asuras. To summarize, the Durga Saptashati, the more we read it, once we learn it properly, because they have a lot of mantric Shakti, under the guidance of a suitable guru, once you learn it, when you read it with full offering, it is a pathway or a key or a Google map to life, how to overcome the Asuras with and emerge victorious.
So beautiful. Shankar, you have something on this?
No, nothing to add on this. This is beautifully explained by him.
Very nicely explained.
Every angle.
Very nicely explained. Not only that, the interesting part is that in the Sanatan tradition, the Bharatiya or the Indian tradition, see, even the names of the Asuras are actually the names of the wives within us. So like you talked about this Sattva and about the Tamas and about the Rajas and about the Ahankar, about the ego to be overcome. So the Asura is within us, the Deva is within us, we have to vanquish our own asuras and win over our own devas. They say if you have to understand, if they say if you have to understand your nature, you have to go close to the nature. You have to go deep and delve into the nature, and that's how the Sanatan tradition delves into the nature, and all the gods and the goddesses and the divine forms that we have created, we have imagined, they all represent something within us, deep within us. So whatever we are looking for is not outside, it is just here inside. We're not looking for a god up in the high heavens. We are looking for the divine within us, the happiness within us, the fulfillment within us. We're looking at being the complete representation of the divine in the divine's own form. So that's a beautiful message. Shiv, thank you very much for today's information. Namaskar, pranam, vanakkam. We see you again.